We joined in July 23. From September end, the same year in 23 September, we had 3 companies on campus. I think so, Accenture Strategy, Kearney, BCG, they were on the campus for internships.
I think about 60% of our batch was already placed before June, I suppose. We had about 30 international placements. Many new companies came in. There was Citibank, there was Meta. I got everything that I wanted. Like, I didn't settle for any parameter.
Guys, I'm once again at Masters Union, a B school which is the most unconventional of all the B schools that I go to. As I speak, I'd like to highlight that the current placement report is out, and as we're making this video, और वो आपको description में link में मिल जाएगा. So I thought, why not talk about all of this with people who've done it all? They've lived their tenure at Masters Union. Apoor is from the 2024 batch. He's already started working. He's working at a very fast-paced organization, Sprinkler, and we'll talk about how post B school life is going for him. And we have Pallavi Chawla. She's just graduated. As a matter of fact, she was also with me in one of my last organizations. So I've seen her pre-MBA journey. She brings relevant MBA relevant work experience in the classrooms of Masters Union, and we'll talk to her about her Masters Union experience, because I'm sure it's much more fresh for her because she's recently passed out and she's very excited about her role. We'll be covering about placements in Masters Union, of course. We'll be covering about all the corporate immersion exposure that you get in Masters Union, their stories, how they got into Masters Union. And we will also talk about a great aspect of Masters Union, which I'd like to talk about now, that they've got 30 international placements this time. 30 international placements in 1 year for one batch. It's something that if you see percentage-wise is not even top IIMs are doing. So Pallavi is placed in Abu Dhabi herself, and we'll talk about this angle as well. So let's get started. First of all, can you please give a brief introduction about yourselves?
Cool, thank you. So my name is Apoor Rathore. I graduated, I'm from 24 batch. I'm currently working with Sprinkler, and before Sprinkler I had almost 5 years of experience before I decided that I would go for an MBA. I had 2 years, almost good 2.5 years with Honeywell. Before that I worked with Bain & Company in their analytics as an analytics consultant. I was even there for good 2.5 years, and 1 year stint with a startup. It was my first company, Tridence Analytics. So I had good 5 years of experience. Then I eventually decided, okay, now let's take a break. Let's try to do something different. I had an option of doing it from a regular 1-year MBA programs, be it IIM ABC's executive or ISB for that matter, or this new B school. How I chose it, that's something which we can cover. But yeah, that is what I had. Now I'm working with Sprinkler, and it's been good 2 years. I'll complete my 2nd year in January. So yeah, in a short, this is what I've done till now.
Hi, I'm Pallavi, and I am a communications professional. I started my journey with Weber Shandwick, where I was fortunate enough to service great brands like Nestle and Radisson in my first year of my career. And that's where I got that kida for marketing and that love for marketing. I continued it with my next company, Jajapur Brand Consultancy, where I got to service Hike. My next stint was actually with you, Sunstone, and again I was the marketing manager. After that, I got to work very closely with the founders there, and I had a new year, new me moment. I decided that I want to try building a business by myself at least once in this lifetime before I become too risk averse. And that felt like the right time. I started my own candle white labeling business. Got my first big client within 6 months of opening my business, which was Max Groups, Max Estates, if you know. And yeah, from there it kicked off. I had wonderful clients. I had about 15 clients on my on a recurring basis, and eventually ended up taking a job at Max Estates as their marketing manager. Wow. And from there I've come to
what was your total work experience, if you highlight?
My total work experience so far before pre-Masters Union was 5 years.
5 years. So we've had both of them had 5 years of work experience. Now, at this tenure, when you have so much of work experience in India, you don't have a lot of B schools to go to. So could you talk about how you decided that you wanted to, how did you zero in on a college like Masters Union, which exam did you take, and that entire process, story of your admission?
Cool. So this was not something which I decided that after 5 years I'll do it. There was no strategy as such in place. I gave CAT couple of times, but I was very sure that I would want to do it from the top tier colleges, and my score was somewhere around odd 95, 96. Never able to get till 99, which was the sweet spot there. So it didn't happen. But my companies, I was getting good profiles. I got into Bain, I got into Honeywell. So profile was building parallelly. So then I thought, why not to go for the best B schools globally, try for them. And parallelly, I was seeing in front of me Masters Union building up, because I was in Bain, just opposite the campus. And I saw from day one how slowly and rapidly this B school was building in front of me. And then the placements happened for the first batch, second batch. I was aware of the whole story. But the best part that really excited me about that I should go for this was like that the whole space and the whole celebration that happens around, which is for that VIP section, VIP, which runs around. People build their own businesses, they get to know about the VC space, how funding happens, what's the step one, step two. Overall, that ecosystem I had zero idea. Like I was like, if you ask me how that process happens, I can talk about that for now half an hour. But before, if you would have asked me, I couldn't speak anything. I don't know what is Series A, Series B, nothing. So that was something which was new. I knew that this is something which I can get here, but not in any traditional B schools, and it would be a regular program, a regular 1 year program, which will be books and everything. I respect that. That is also something which I aspire to do. But this was something which really excited me. Within a day before or 2 days before, my couple of colleagues from Bain, we decided, okay, let's just try for it and let's see how it happens. We applied, we got selected, but we didn't got the scholarships. Now this was something which made us like, oh, even if you had such good experience with such big brands on your CV, you didn't get the
What is the
scholarship. Then
percentage of students that get scholarship here?
so around 25% in my batch, if I'm not wrong.
Which
So,
exam did you take, and is there a
yeah, so
criteria
for this, I gave my GMAT score as well, but I took MU-BAAT as well. So both of them with the profile that the questions they have, plus a video. So it was something like you have to make a video
So this is part
introducing
of the
yourself.
MU-BAAT exam.
MU-BAAT
Can
exam.
you let us know about what this MU-BAAT exam is?
Okay, so and it keeps changing. So don't think that when you give MU-BAAT it is going to be the same. So for my batch, when I gave it, it's something like I gave an exam for McKinsey when I was interviewing the process. So they have a gaming exam initially. It was exactly same exam. On the very similar lines, you have 10 to 15 games which will come. You will have a trial before, and then some maths questions, your typical arithmetic questions, geometry questions, English, all of that will also come into it. So it was combined everything, games plus your arithmetics, your LRDI and your English. All of that will come, but not something which is very, very tricky of CAT levels, a little toned down version of it.
So I have
but
one
it is pretty good.
One
Yeah.
question. Do you need to take a primary exam like CAT, GMAT along with MU-BAAT, or you can only take the MU-BAAT and get in? How's it
You
work?
can only take MU-BAAT to get in,
Okay.
but it is always good if you have a good score of any of these exams, your weightage of getting in increases.
Your profile health overall
Exactly.
increases.
So yeah, so more or less that's what happened, and that's how I came in. And yeah,
You can talk about your scholarship.
yeah, so scholarship was something which we were discussing. So 25% people got in back then, but I didn't got it. That triggered me. Okay, so then there are people who have much better profiles who are getting scholarships. Okay, so let's go and check that out. And once I get in, I could see like there were many people with a lot better profiles. People who had built their startups,
What do you
sold the
mean?
startups.
Okay.
So yeah, a couple of like there were two folks from my batch, Shauradeep and Upmanyu. So they had built a startup before, lecture notes, which they sold for good, sold it for significant amount. Now they have built within the batch for good 2 years, and they have raised almost close to around $1 million or so. So they have raised that money. They are building Play Super. So they are doing pretty well there. And a couple of other folks from my batch. Now people in Gurgaon would know Lexi's Sandwich. Those guys are also from my batch. They decided that they'll build something of their own. 4 people. And now it's one of the most popular sandwich places in Gurgaon. You can see it on Zomato and Swiggy. They are doing pretty well. So people who wanted to build, they have done pretty well. And the best part, Institute supported them till date. Like if your college ended in 24 June, now we are sitting in 25 November. So for a year, all of those folks get 50,000 per month as a stipend to build something of their own, which I don't see anywhere happening.
Very solid ecosystem. I mean, with Eat Atlas
Exactly.
and Lexi's, everybody gets a lot of, they get huge support.
So all of these are startups founded and also helped in funding by Masters Union.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You also had a startup you were talking about, startup stint. So did
Before-
you get a scholarship? I mean, just because
Yeah.
you talked about
I
it.
got a tiny scholarship.
Okay.
But that tiny should also be about 5 lakhs, if I'm not wrong.
Great.
Tiny is also good.
So guys, we've heard, now we got to know about the admission process. You have an exam called MU-BAAT. Even if you believe you do not have a very high score on CAT or that, I think this is a way you can get entry into Masters Union. And also if you have something extra in your profile like startup experience or something else which Masters Union values, then you can also get a very heavy scholarship of around 5 lakhs.
Possibly, even more than that. There
More
were
than that.
people
Okay.
There are
who got
bands. Some
yeah.
people get 25% scholarship, some people get 50. It goes up to 75, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I think they're ready to support whoever
Yes.
is qualified for that.
So like
I
fees
don't
is
think
not a
there's a-
barrier.
yeah.
Fees is not a barrier if your profile is strong, and if the team finds that you are passionate
Yeah.
enough that you want to do something, they will support you.
I'm glad you talked about it because I keep visiting B schools, and one perception about Masters Union is it's a very expensive B school. And the second, which I want to talk about right now, is the numbers, the placement numbers look too good to be true. Now, Apoorv, I would like to talk to you first.
Okay.
What is your, and I'll come to the international segment with Pallavi, convince me that Masters Union's placements numbers are true, and the companies that we see on the report, like Bain and Accenture Strategy, how do they come here? Because these companies give a lot of internships and then they get PPOs
Absolutely.
for a 2-year MBAs. Now you
Absolutely.
have a 16-month MBA.
Exactly.
So how does it work for you then? Please explain it to us and be very honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so there's nothing, like I would have been in the same shoes when I was not part of it, and when I saw the whole process, I was very clear with it that how it happens, and that's something which should go out as well. So we joined in July 23. I resigned from Honeywell in June 23. I came here in July 23. From September end, the same year in 23 September, we had 3 companies on campus. I think so, Accenture Strategy, Kearney, BCG, they were on the campus for internships, and ServiceNow for a full-time role for product manager. So 4 companies were on campus. Now, how for consulting it happens is, like for a regular MBA program, they would get their internships in summers of next year.
Exactly.
The same thing happened. So in July 23, there were around 2 candidates shortlisted and selected in Kearney, 2 for Accenture Strategy, 1 or 2 for BCG.
Achha, so you're saying,
Yeah.
I'll summarize this, you're saying that after a few months, you
Not
got-
after a few months,
Okay.
the companies came on campus, the interview happened for a day. For a day, all the processes happened.
But this is
people
in the first 2 months of
first 2 months of the
Okay.
program. Now, those 2 people know that we have an internship to do next year in July of 24. So they go
This
for
is
the
similar
internship.
with the 2-year MBA.
Exactly,
That
exactly
the
same.
companies came similar time. They also
Same
go to
time.
IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore in the first few
Absolutely.
months. They selected you for internships.
Yes.
Now you will be doing an internship 1 year down the line.
1 year down the line, you do those internships. Now it's on the company.
Which are these companies? So that these are
So like Kearney was in my batch.
AT Kearney, which is a very good
yes.
consulting firm.
A BCG, Accenture Strategy, I've already told you. Kearney was there, and then Takshila and all others came post.
So
like
do
they come
most
later.
premier consulting firms, they take
Yes.
these route only for hiring from Masters Union? I'm just
Yes. All of them took this route. They hired for internships. People who got to the internships. Then it's on them. Like Accenture wanted that you should join in now. Once the internship was done, they asked people to join in from the next month. But BCG and Kearney, they asked, okay, you should join with the regular batch. So they waited for some time. They did some more internships, and then post a year, then they joined in, like 25 they joined. So that happens. They get a time, but the route is exactly same what it would be for an IIM A, B or C.
I'll summarize it for my viewers. I think this is very important what Apoorv is trying to say, and I'll say this in English or Hindi. So Masters Union gets a lot of consulting firms, big names like AT Kearney, BCG, जो अपूर्व कह रहे हैं. Now होता क्या है कि यहाँ पे you have to do an internship, जिसमें आप अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हो तो आपको प्री प्लेसमेंट ऑफर मिलती है. Now a lot of people have this question कि 16 months के MBA प्रोग्राम में आप internship कब करोगे? So if you get selected in these companies, they give you internship 1 साल बाद ही. But if you do well, and most people get PPOs, then you can wait for another year. You can do other stints on your own, or I'm sure Masters Union also उसमें भी help करता होगा. And then you can go to these firms after 2 years,
After
and
2
which is the way that these consulting firms offer these premier
full-time
roles
role.
at Masters Union, which is rare across,
Yes.
say, ABCL, KI, and XLFMS.
Absolutely, and the same was for me. Like ServiceNow came in. That was the first company who was giving a full-time offer in September. So they came for product manager, but they saw the profiles, and that year was really tough across IIMs. If you see, 23 and 24 was tough in terms of placement. They saw the profiles and they really liked the profiles. They changed the role. They said, now we don't want for PM, we want for SPM, senior product managers. They shortlisted 4 people, and 2 of us got selected. One was me, one is now working with ServiceNow. So I had a full-time offer in October starting. Then I started participating. Like I had now a job offer. I was not something which was very much into classrooms. I used to attend, and I got like I had a decent credits already done. By December, I had 58 credits done, which should be 60 in class. So I started participating in whatever case competitions were happening.
competitions, if you could?
IIM A, B, C, and the finally Harvard Business School case comp, which was like the biggest case comp that we participated in, and that was something which was really excited, and it was a tough case competition. Like you have to prepare a deck of 75 pages, a 75 slides deck of an M&A case, very in-depth case study. And luckily we came in second. MIT was third, Stanford and other were even behind. So we came in second. It was like appreciated across. And what happened in December, I got a message from Strategies, then VP of Strategy and Operations team. She messaged me on LinkedIn that we have an opening in our team for this specific role. Would you be interested? And I already had an offer. I went for the interview rounds. I told them that institute has a condition. I can leave this offer only if I get 1.5x or 2x on the fixed part of it. She was able to get that from the finance team and all of that, and finally they offered me. And this becomes tricky because by December end, I had 2 offers within 6 months. So now their institute was like not rigid, like, okay, you can't, it'll spoil a relationship, we are a newbie school. So no such pushback came in. They told me, okay, your credits are decent, you have 50, 55, 56 already done. You have to complete 10 more or 6 more in class and some out class, which can be managed. Like my office is just outside campus, so I had to complete only 4 credits
Explain to
more.
me outclass credits, please, because this is also new for.
Now, so it can be different for current cohort, it could be different for her cohort as well. For me, it was 60 in-class credits, 40 out-class.
What is the meaning of outclass?
So, yeah, so in-class means you have to sit in the classrooms and every course will be 2 credit or 1 credit. 2 credit means it's a 20 hours course and every class is of 2 hours, so 10 classes. 1 credit means 10-hour course and it will be done in 3 classes. So that way 60 hours needs to be, 60 credits needs to be completed in class. 40 out classes, 10 is of drop shipping, which you have to do drop shipping. Out class, you go outside, you create your own business, you sell it. So that is out class.
Everyone has to do this.
Everyone has to do. You form teams, you do it, and that is a very significant component of your first term numbers. And based on your first term, you get shortlist for internships. So you can't mess it there. So your internship scores, your internships or your first term scores have to be really good. So drop shipping is very important component. Then you have 10 credits for your in-house consulting versus your this content creation. So during our tenure, it was this: either you choose content creation or you choose in-house consulting. So I worked for House of X, which is Raj Shamani's brand, and the problem statement was, how can we help them reduce cost of acquisition, which is like a significant
You got
problem.
this opportunity from Masters.
Yes.
Okay,
that also happened from Masters Union, and even we performed really well there. So this was something which is a part of outclass. So you already done 10 for dropshipping, 10 for content creation, and 10 for your in-house consulting, and then the last is VIP, which is you have to build your startup, try for the funding rounds. VCs will come on the campus, almost 50, 60 plus VCs. You pitch to them, and finally, if you are lucky enough, if they like you, they'll invest to you on the spot, either a grant or some rounds of it.
Sorry to cut you out there, Apurv, but it's important for me to know, I'm sure for viewers as well, what is the impact of all of these exposure that you get? Tell me actual placement numbers for your batch.
Okay, so for my batch, if I have to talk about, for C4, I was from code 4, it was somewhere around or 29 was an average package there. 29 lakhs per annum, average package across.
Talk to me also about the consulting number, because we highlighted that.
Yeah.
That a lot of these firms come. What percentage of students get placed in, at least in your batch?
Exactly. So it's exactly same in parity with what an IIM would give you. So if IIM A batches of 400 odd folks,
30-40%.
the 10% to 20% goes there. ISB is 1,000. 10% around 100 people get in there, and then eventually you finally how many gets the PPO, that's the separate part. Same was here. The batch was 200 odd size. Almost 2-3 people got into BCG, 2 were in Kearney and 2 were in Accenture Strategy. Overall, around 10 to 15 people were able to get into consulting across companies. So 2, 2, 3, 3, and Takshila was again 2, and then 1 or 2 firms which I'm just like
10, 15 out of 150.
Around 200.
200.
And again, of that 200, I would leave the people who are building the businesses. So around 30-40 people opted out from placements because they were building their businesses.
30 to 40.
30 to 40. Now you remove these 30 to 40, the remaining 160 sat for placement.
Thanks for being so honest, Apurv. So you get all sort of opportunities or pathways after Masters Union. 30-40 people want to go into entrepreneurship and they start their own businesses, like the sandwich brand that you talked about.
Lexis is doing well.
And then you also do consulting.
Yes, that's a part of program which happens.
How you get consulting offers?
Program basically, how I look at it is you trying to earn a paycheck independent of an employer. they try to make you do everything where you can self-source that paycheck for yourself, be it drop shipping or content creation or building a business of your own, consulting, anywhere where you get a paycheck independent of an employer. And I think that's a very key skill to have, that plants that entrepreneurial seed in you somewhere. That's why everyone, like all of us, like there's one common gene running across all the batches from C1 to C5, is that whether we are working, whether we are doing our own businesses, all of us inherently, after closing our courses, after concluding our courses, we've become entrepreneurial.
So talk to me, Pallavi, about your batch's placement number, especially about the international figures. How many people got placed exactly internationally? What was the average salary number? And apart from the roles that Apoorv talked about, what roles did you get? Because you're the latest batch. What are the domains or placements that your batch got?
I think about 60% of our batch was already placed before June. We had about 30 international placements. And what I see across my batch is that we have very diverse profiles. Many new companies came in. There was Citibank, there was Meta, and there are some international companies like DP World and
Yours is ADI, serious.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's been great year. It's been a great year in terms of placements. Also, on the subject of it being too good to be true, Abhishek, I was exactly in the same place 1 year, 4 months from today. Like, and why I feel people feel it's too good to be true is because they see input and they see output. They don't have much information on what goes within the input and output, and it is chaotic, if I have to be very honest with you. It gets difficult, it is a lot of hustle, and it's not as linear as it would be in other traditional B schools. It's not a day zero, day one approach to placements. Some people get placed very early, some people have to wait till the course ends, and they have to figure out their purpose when some of their classmates have already basically started working. So it can take a mental load on some people, but again, that is your resilience that gets you the kind of results that maybe possibly I got, or some other people in my batch got. He got placed early and I got placed towards the end of the course, but I got everything that I wanted. Like, I didn't settle for any parameter. I wanted a marketing role. I was very set on that from day one. I got a marketing role. I wanted to work in Web3 space. I am going to work in Web3 space. And I wanted an international placements since, I think, March. So I got all the three things. That's because I waited for the right opportunity to come, and that's because the college allowed me to explore that much. And that's because of this non-day zero, day one approach, this not non-linear approach that allowed me to have that, to basically demand that flexibility for myself.
Talk to me about this. A lot of us believe that Masters Union has consulting and chief of staff roles, but what are the other roles that you get? Like, you got a marketing role.
Yeah.
You're very clear you wanted a marketing role. What are these other roles that you get?
There were plenty of social media roles. There were very innovative roles. I think majority of our batch got placed in COS roles.
Chief of staff roles.
Chief of staff roles, and some of them got very good finance placements. And the Citibank one I mentioned was in finance, and we have really, like, the Meta one I mentioned is in marketing.
Okay.
So it's a
Talk
very
to us
diverse.
about your experience. How did you happen to crack this Abu Dhabi role? Because I'm very intrigued. I've not seen this company in any other college's placement, so it would be great if you.
So my interview experience was that we were flown to Abu Dhabi. We got a shortlist. 14 of us were shortlisted, and we were flown to Abu Dhabi for a week actually. And there were 2 intense rounds of interviews by the senior leadership of Sirius Holdings, and I think 7 of us were selected for different roles across different subsidiaries. It was a very memorable experience for me, and it was lovely.
And that's how you got a marketing role.
Yeah.
Now in Abu Dhabi, pre-MBA WorkX of marketing in India already. Thanks, Pallavi. Thanks, Apoorv, for such honest and detailed insights about Masters Union. I did not know. I had this real question ki how do you get these consulting firms? सर आपने बताया, आपने exposure का बताया कि how do you actually get real startup experience, how people are actually going on to start the ventures that they've started, like the sandwich brand that you mentioned. So great insights for me. मैंने खुद भी देखा है कि master student gets a lot of new age opportunities, like roles में भी chief of staff is a role which master student gets in bulk compared to all other colleges, all other colleges. And this is also predominant in new age companies, so it gets a lot of roles from startups. Gurgaon based also because of the location. So if you also believe कि आपको भी कोई ऐसा कॉलेज चाहिए जहाँ पे आपको इस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़, न्यू एज अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हो, और जहाँ आपको हैंड्स ऑन लर्निंग करने का मौका मिले. And we talked in depth about the placement opportunities. International 30 placements are, it's very different and it's great actually अगर आपको काम करना है बाहर. And if you want this sort of an exposure, then master student is for you. As I speak, I'd like to highlight that the current placement report is out, and as we're making this video, और वो आपको description में link में मिल जाएगा. आपके जो questions हैं मुझे comment से पूछिए. I'll try to get in touch with master student authorities and answer you as honestly as possible. All the best. Stay safe and take care.